Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create this once again as a 3-point. You can see that I did my 1 point, my 2 point of the same object. So this corner here is the only line that's going to end up being vertical in my 3-point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, come up with my points. I'm going to put one top left. In line with it, I'm going to put one top right, and then I like to kind of center it, which is going to be a little tough, but I should be able to come pretty close. And put a dot down here for my 3rd point. I'm going to come up a little ways, and right here is going to be where I create my object. And that doesn't really matter a whole lot. I'll shift up just a little bit. So right there is going to be that one corner. That's going to be my only vertical line in this object. Everything else is going to be at different angles. So this one you might want to use a ruler on. It gets a little tough. I'm going to try to sketch it by hand. We'll see how that turns out. I'm going to go ahead and take this one off to the top right, which is going to give me my lines going back for depth, and I'm also going to take it to the top left, which is going to give me my width lines.
Now, notice that I haven't taken the corner off yet. Once again, if we look at the picture.
I can always turn it off so it doesn't go in the video, right?
Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take it off this way. Now I'm going to go ahead and guesstimate where I want my depth to be proportionally. So if this is 1 block tall, I'm going to say right about here is going to be 1 block deep. And now I'm going to go 3 blocks wide. So once again I'm going to guesstimate what looks proportionate. And go ahead and sketch. Oops, I made a mistake on those actually. If I went ahead and put a tick mark up top, I forgot that I was doing a 3-point. So if I've got a tick mark there and a tick mark there, those actually have to come down to my 3rd vanishing point. Teachers make mistakes too. So right there it's going to angle down. And that one's going to angle, I got to angle that just a little more. Erasers are a great invention. Okay, so right there I'm starting to create my object. I'm going to go ahead and start creating the top surface for these 3 blocks right here. And I'm going to do that by taking this one back into my vanishing point right. Take this one back into my vanishing point left. And that would be those 3 blocks. I'm going to darken that in before I get a whole bunch more lines and confuse myself. So every line that you draw on this, other than that very first one, you're going to have to project to the vanishing point. Now the only reason you don't have to project that is because I lined it up directly with my bottom line, so it would actually project down there, but it's going to be vertical for me. Every other line you have to make sure to take to a vanishing point. So once again, there's the 3 blocks for the front row of this. Now I need to go ahead and deal with that block in the back. I'm going to go ahead and guesstimate that on this front edge. So that's about 1/3 of the way, that's about 1/3 of the way, and I'm going to take those off to vanishing point right. And then right here I could go ahead and take those on up to go ahead and give me my height there if I want to. I'm going to take those, they have to come off of this bottom one. This one you can see almost directly lines up with my front line, so that's going to be almost straight up. So I project those up a little ways. And project this one up a little ways. Now I have to once again kind of estimate how tall it should be. So down here is 2 blocks tall. As we're working towards the back, it's probably not going to be quite as much. So I'm going to go ahead and say that right about here is the height that I want on that. And I'm going to have to take that off to vanishing point left. Now there's the front face to this block right here. So I'm going to darken that in because as you can see I'm starting to get more and more lines. Can easily get confused. So that's the front face of it. I'm going to go ahead and vanish these off to vanishing point right. And once again estimate where I want my depth to be on that. So I'm going to say right about there looks like proportionate depth. And I'm going to take that off to vanishing point left. And I'm going to darken in the top of that block that I've now come up with. then all I should have to do is go ahead and drop this back corner down to the bottom vanishing point, because it's going to vanish back behind the front 3 blocks when you're looking at it. So I don't really have to worry about where it ends. And I darken that in. And right there should be my object. I'm going to darken a few more a little thicker, that way they're easier to see. But you can see that I've created my object.